Hello, Legacy enjoyers. We are covering the Legacy 1K hosted by Face to Face Games Toronto that was held on July 7th. So apologies for the delay in getting this coverage out to you guys. But before we get into the games, just a quick announcement for the upcoming Legacy of the North Summer Invitational. This is our Comp REL No Proxy event that we hold 3 times a year where we showcase our local grinders and celebrate our Legacy community. So we will be streaming the event with live commentary, player interviews, and deck text this time around, and you'll be able to tune in and watch the event on Saturday, August 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The primary stream will be through Legacy of the North sponsor Enter the Battlefield, and you can find that at twitch.tv/ETB Canada. And I'll also be restreaming the event here at youtube.com/@LazyMTG. So we hope to see you in the comment and chat sections on August 10th. So with that out of the way, let's watch some Legacy. This is round number 4. This is going to be Wilkin playing Deadguy Scam and Pavel playing Tron Post. This is newly off of the release of MH3. So Pavel is testing out Planar Nexus and the interaction between it and the Tron lands. If you don't know what Planar Nexus is, I'll throw it up on the screen. It is a land that he just found off of the Once Upon a Time. Its first ability is that it counts as all non-basic land types. And what that means is that in the specifics of this game specifically, it counts as Urza's mine and Urza's power plant. So when he has Urza's tower out, the Urza's tower will recognize Planar Nexus as having both of those other land names on the battlefield. So it will tap for 3 mana, whereas the Planar Nexus will just tap for the 1, so that's 4 mana in the 2 lands. It does have that filter ability as well, but yeah, that's enough on that. Wilkin started off with Swamp into Thoughtseize. In response, Pavel cast the Once Upon a Time. Pavel took the Disruptor Flute, passed the turn after casting that Thoughtseize. Pavel responded with Karakas into Vexing Bauble, which now brings us to Wilkin's turn, where he just wastelands the Karakas. I'm a little surprised about that because he doesn't really play legendary creatures, and he did see Pavel pick up that Planar Nexus. I guess he didn't really care much because he just wastelanded Pavel's Cloud Post. Again, the first wasteland is questionable. I guess he's just trying to strip him of as much mana as possible. But now Wilkin is going to play a Castle Lock Thwain into Hymn to Torok. This is going to take away 2 of Pavel's 4 cards. So going to discard the Tabernacle and an Ulamog Ceaseless Hunger. Okay, Pavel just going to cycle the Vexing Bauble. Doesn't really think Pavel doesn't really think that Wilkin is going to be casting free spells. He's going to play a Cloud Post and then pass to Wilkin. Wilkin going to tap 2. Here is another Hymn to Torok. Going to take Pavel's cards out. Only going to leave 1. So this is the one that he's going to keep. He's going to discard Karn and Crop Rotation. Ugh. Pavel down to only 2 cards now that he's drawn for turn. Wilkin doesn't have a source of white mana for this Stoneforge Mystic. Didn't play a land for turn. So we're just going to see Pavel draw and then pass the turn. Wilkin going to pick up a Line Sash. Going to pass it back to Pavel. Pavel going to draw for his turn. Does he have a land drop? No, it is another Vexing Bauble, which he can now cycle if he wants to draw. Maybe he's trying to find another land. Finds the forest. That he did flash a Crop Rotation, so he now can cast Crop Rotation and turn his forest or his Cloud Post into a Urza's Tower if he needs 4 mana. Otherwise, he can go for another utility land, as Cloud Post is kind of similar to lands, but not as much of a prison strategy. More of like a utility mana ramp style. There's an Echoing Deeps from Pavel. Going to copy the Cloud Post that Wilkin wastelanded away. Gonna pass it back to Wilkin. Wilkin going to Grief, or evoke Grief, exiling another Grief. In response to the Grief, Pavel going to cast Crop Rotation. I assume there's just going to be a land in his hand. Looks like if he finds... Wow, he finds Eye of Ugin. So because of this planar nexus, not only is it Urza's Mine and Urza's Power Plant, it is also a Locus. So that means the Echoing Deeps is going to generate 3 mana because it is a copy of Cloud Post. Then he has another Cloud Post, which taps for another 3 mana. So that's 6. Then Planar Nexus taps for 1, that's 7. Eye of Ugin makes Eldrazi cost 2 less. So I wonder how many Ulamogs he can play, because if he activates Eye of Ugin at the end of Wilkin's turn, he can cast it now that he has 8 mana. Wilkin finally rips a Plains off of the top of his deck, finds a white source for this Stoneforge Mystic. It might be a little too late here, though, if I did my math correctly. So Wilkin's on the Stoneforge Mystic's trigger, or enter the battlefield trigger, going to find a Batterskull. At the end of Wilkin's turn, Pavel's going to find, activate the Eye of Ugin, gonna find a big Eldrazi spell. So he has 3, 6, 7, 8, and then yeah, he can play a discounted Ulamog from this Eye of Ugin. Does he have a second one is the question. He does not. He has a Sowing Mycospawn. Okay, that's enough for Wilkin to pack it up. So that means Pavel is up 1 game over Wilkin. Okay, here we are for game number 2 in round number 4. Wilkin is going to be on the play. He did concede a little early in that last game. All Pavel was showing was a Mycospawn, but with that Mycospawn and that Eye of Ugin, it is very easy for Pavel to kind of ramp very, very quickly. And I don't mean ramp as in the literal sense, but it's very easy for him to get out of control, because what he'll do is he'll just exile Wilkin's white source so that he can't activate the Stoneforge Mystic, and that Batterskull will be stranded in Wilkin's hand. But not only that, he'll also be able to get another Cloud Post or Glimmer Post. He'll be able to generate 15 mana quite easily, and then he can search for Emrakul using the Eye of Ugin. So those are like the next 2 turns that would have happened. Wilkin knows his deck enough to know if he can draw out of it or not. He could have top decked the white source, but even then, if you have that Batterskull, he needed that Stoneforge a lot earlier before he was facing down that Eye of Ugin. But both players are going to mulligan down to 6. They are playing at lightning fast speeds here. Looks like Wilkin just going to crack the Polluted Delta, find a Swamp. Pavel has drawn, but not sure exactly why. Wilkin was in the middle of cracking his fetch. There's a Thoughtseize. Yeah, that was very questionable. You might have misheard. I'm not exactly sure, but we're gonna see 2 Glimmer Posts, Urza's Tower, Tormod's Crypt, Karn the Great Creator, and a Sowing Mycospawn from Pavel. I think in this case you just take the Karn. It's probably the easiest thing for Pavel to cast. All he needs to do is get a Planar Nexus. But after that Thoughtseize, Wilkin now at 17. Pavel's going to draw, finds the Tormod's Crypt, going to play the Urza's Tower, and just pass the turn. Wilkin going to cast a replace Scrubland, cast Stoneforge Mystic. Let's see if he gets a Cauldron Complete. It's the speediest way to end this game. I don't think you need the Line Sash. Like, wow, he goes for a Batterskull, so he probably has the Cauldron Complete in the hand already. So after finding the Batterskull, just going to pass the turn. Pavel finds another Urza's Tower off the top of his library, going to play for the turn and pass back to Wilkin. Wilkin going to draw for his turn, finds a Castle Locthwain, going to play a Marsh Flats, activate the Stoneforge Mystic, puts in that Cauldron Complete that we assumed that he had. In comes the Germ for 5 points of damage, drops Pavel down to 15. Gonna pass the turn. Pavel draws. Let's see if he can get out of this one. There is quite a fast clock. Pavel going to play a Glimmer Post, should gain 1 life. Down comes Sowing Mycospawn for just 4. Not going to be able to kick it. Finds the Planar Nexus. So Planar Nexus, once it comes in, Pavel will have 8 mana available. Just going to pass the turn. Looks like both players missed the trigger on the Glimmer Post. Alright, so Wilkin dropping himself down to 16. Finds Shadowy Backstreet. That is the black-white Surveil land. God, these lands are so good. I love them. Check the top. Is he going to go to the bin? It is going to go to the bin. He bins Pest Control. Yeah, not going to find too much of a use here. Down comes the Castle Lock Twain that he drew last turn. Alright, Wilkin's sitting in a pretty comfortable position here, although he does need to find a way to deal with this Planar Nexus. Oh, okay, so Pavel saying that he should be at 16 life, but it wasn't updated. I would probably consider that a mistrigger, but again, he could have announced it. There's quite a bit of miscommunication here. Like he drew for his turn, didn't there? It could be loud. I don't really recall, but down comes Caustic Bronco for Wilkin. This is the new Bob, I would say. Doesn't have a way of dealing with this Planar Nexus, so this is gonna hurt. Pavel does have 8 mana. We're gonna see what he can do with it. This is gonna be 4. Looks like he's gonna filter some of it. Yeah, so he's gonna have 1 floating, gonna cast this Once Upon a Time. Pavel looking at Batterskull, and I don't know what that card in his hand is. Oh, is it the new energy Wrath? I think it's Wrath the Skies. Alright, so Pavel gonna find Fairy Macabre off the Once Upon a Time. He has a lot of graveyard hate. He is expecting a lot of reanimate from Wilkin, but don't think he really needs it. Gonna gain 3 life from playing this Glimmer Post. Gonna pass the turn, activate the Stoneforge. Here is Batterskull. So, how much will Wilkin be swinging with? He will be swinging with 4, 9, potentially 12? Finds a Lion's Ash. Not terrible. It can grow. So the Caustic Bronco can attack. How much is it to crew? Saddle. Its saddle is 3. Okay, so it looks like he is attacking with everything except for the Stoneforge Mystic. Caustic Bronco is gonna trigger, gonna flip over Marsh Flat, so that's gonna get added to Wilkin's hand. Sowing Michael Spawn going to trade with the Caustic Bronco. Alright. Pavel gonna take 9, drop down to 5. Wilkin should be going up to 20 because of the lifelink from Batterskull. Down comes the Marsh Flats that he flipped over. Down comes Lion Sash. Going to crack the Marsh Flats. Going to find Scrubland. Is there any particular reason why he wants to be doing this now? Looks like he's just gonna pass the turn. That's very odd. Okay, and that's a quick win for Wilkin. So we're gonna go to a game 3 here. Wilkin tying it 1-1. Okie dokie, folks, here we are for game number 3. Both these players playing at lightning fast pace here. So I did check in Pavel's list. He only does play the 1 Ulamog, so he didn't have 2. If you guys want to follow along, deck lists are in the description below. Looks like Pavel is going to mulligan down to 6. Wilkin now taking a look at his hand. Let's see if we can get a gander. There's a Wasteland. Castle Lock Twain. Swamp. Hey, sit still. That's a Liliana. Swords to Plowshares. I think that's a Caustic Bronco. I'm gonna finish guessing, and we're gonna start this game off. Pavel keeping his 6. Going to start off with Bajuka Bog coming in tapped, passing the turn. Unluckily, Wilkin top decks Cauldron Complete. Gonna pass the turn after playing a Swamp. Pavel gonna draw for his turn. Down comes Cloud Post. At the end step, looks like Wilkin is going to Swamp Cycle Troll of Khazad Doom. Finds a Scrubland. Gonna put a troll into the graveyard. So I think this is why Pavel was packing in so much graveyard hate. Don't want Wilkin reanimating this troll. Alright, he's gonna draw for turn. Finds him to Torok. Oh boy, I love this card. Gonna go Wasteland into the Cloud Post. Pass the turn. And Pavel's gonna pick up his card for the turn. Finds a Glimmer Post, gonna go up to 21, tap for 2 mana. Down comes the One Ring, exiling 2 Elvish Spirit Guides. Very nice. Gonna draw 1 card from the One Ring. Gonna pass back to Wilkin. Wilkin going to Castle Lochthwain, him to Torok. Nope, there's a Caustic Bronco. Gonna pass the turn. Lose 1 life from the burning counter. Go back to 20. Gonna activate the One Ring, draw 2 cards. There's a Planar Nexus for Pavel. Looks like he drew a Fairy Macabre as well. Nope, I was wrong. It was an Echoing Deeps. That's going to copy the Cloud Post. Alright, the One Ring kind of taking over this game. I think that's an opposition off the top for Wilkin. Wilkin going to attack with the Caustic Bronco. Oh, no. So before attacks, there's a Dismember from Pavel, going down to 18. There's a Scrubland from Wilkin, and just gonna pass the turn. Wow, not even a Liliana, eh? If he played Liliana, he could have upticked, but I guess there's nothing he wants to discard. He could have discarded the Swords of Plowshares. I don't know if it's doing too much. Pavel gonna activate the One Ring again, draw 3 cards. Ugh, this card is something. Looks like he did pick up a Karn the Great Creator. Nope, it might have been a forest. I'm gonna stop speculating. It's kind of hard. That could be a Caracas. Oh, I'm still doing it. Nope, gonna hard cast Elvish Spirit Guide. Alright, at the end of the turn, Wilkin gonna flash in Opposition Agent. Still before Wilkin's turn, Pavel going to dismember the Opposition Agent. Curious as to why. A lot of dismembers being fired. Pay 2 mana. There's a Hymn to Torok. Wow, Pavel has so many cards in hand. Alright, before the Hymn to Torok, Pavel going to Fairy Macabre, take out the Opposition Agent and Troll of Khazad-dûm from Wilkin's graveyard. Alright, Wilkin going to figure out which cards are going to get discarded. Pavel discards Caracas Maze of Ith. Let's see. Nope, Wilkin just going to pass to Pavel's turn. Pavel loses 3 life due to the One Ring. Gonna activate it again. Draw 4 cards. Wow. One Ring utterly destroys Wilkin's game plan here with all his discard spells. Okay, Pavel rearranging his board. Looks like he's ready to do something big. He is making space. He's counting. That's 2 mana off of the Echoing Deeps, which is currently a Cloud Post. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. So not enough for a Myco Spawn that's kicked. Down comes a regular Cloud Post. Now he can kick the Myco Spawn. So going to exile the Scrubland. Going to Swords to Plowshare the Elvish Spirit Guide, but he could have floated a mana and exiled the Myco Spawn, but it's not going to do much else. Well, and it looks like Wilkin has scooped. Okay, so that is Pavel winning it in 3. So Tron Post taking it over Deadguy Scam. I think that was a pretty early concession, both in games 1 and in game 3 for Wilkin, but he knows his deck best, and if he thinks that his deck couldn't get through, then yeah, so be it. I hope you like this one. It was a little faster paced than the other rounds because they were control matches. But yeah, I hope to see you guys in round number 5. Take it easy.